Hi guys! So for today's KLT, we're talking about something that can go wrong before a candidate is ever interviewed, which is this may be the business may not be fully clear on what it actually needs.
We're joined by Lorena, our client success pod leader. Lorena has more than 8 years of experience in talent acquisition and has worked across both recruitment and client success at ScaleSource.
Hey! Hi Lorena! How are you doing?
Hey, girl. Thanks for inviting me. Happy to be here.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, Lorena, let's start with a situation that you probably hear often. So, a client says, I need an assistant. What do you need to understand before that can become a real hiring plan?
Well, it's kind of tricky because, times out of 10, what they are looking for, it's another kind of role. So I try just to verify the pain point. What they really need. Maybe they need someone to help them with the invoicing, with the follow-ups, scheduling. Do they need someone in the front line answering calls and emails to customers? So if you can notice, these are like two different skill sets. So I try to check what they really need, try to talk about the task, and then we can, refine the search and find the right person for them.
What's usually like the first question you ask just to get past the job title?
I always go for the basics. I need to know like the schedule. Like sometimes they forget the details that they know because for them it's like, okay, I know that I'm working from 8 to 5, but it's important to know, their location, the time zone, and I start with that part.
When a client explains the problem, what are you usually like listening for or focusing on? Like, are you listening for a task or maybe the outcomes, the bottlenecks maybe that they're experiencing, or maybe the mix of all three?
Okay, so I try to tackle the situations due to the check-ins. We have monthly meetings in which we try to know how is the account in general. If there's any need, we try to address it. We try to provide the help and the support that they need. So we don't have a big issue to solve later. And if we notice, as you mentioned, like sometimes there's some bottlenecks, we try to find solutions for them. If they use, just to give you an example, if someone is mentioning like, hey, my scaler is struggling with this software, what I do is probably I might set off like a one-to-one, training session so they can learn how to use that specific software. So we don't have those issues, we don't let it to be bigger.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Lorena. That's a one way to catch the problem before it. I mean, the issue before it becomes a problem. So,
Yeah.
what actually happens when the role is like what they actually want? I mean, the candidate that they want is trying to cover everything at once. So, how do you help the client narrow it without ignoring the most important work or what they actually need in their company?
We try to do that during the recruitment process. We try to craft together like a job description. We have some templates that they can be helpful for them, but we always try to do something, specific and personalized for their own business because of course there's different tasks. And once we have that, we provide a job description to the candidates. They of course have questions that they bring to the interviews. The client is, more than helpful, answering those questions. By the moment that they start working, they are aware of all the tasks, all the scope that they are going to be performing. And we try to avoid confusions from the very beginning by being clear with this.
Yeah, I agree. Clarity is the most important thing, especially on this process. So, was there ever a time that the client may be actually describing two different roles in just one person?
Yeah, the unicorn role.
Yeah, unicorn.
That very often. Like they were saying, like, okay, want someone to help me with the calls, and then they were like, does this person know how to create, marketing content pieces for social media? And then they, surprise you with like, do they know how to use QuickBooks? And that's and it is like a whole mix. And yeah, we have had these situations. And sometimes we try to check, of course, the workload. Like, is this like a small task? They just need to check on QuickBooks something, or do they need to create an invoice, or do they need to send like links for the payments? So, what do you want them to do?
We're glad that our scalers are very, multi-skilled.
They are rock stars, honestly.
Yeah.
Our scalers are amazing.
So, talking about our, candidates that we have, you know, a candidate can look very perfect on paper, or on their resume, but what can still make that person the wrong fit for the business?
Sometimes we don't believe, or we don't, we are not aware of how important it is cultural alignment. Someone can be perfect on paper. They have the experience, they know the software, they are agreed with the scope of the role, and they want to be part of this team. But once you are there, you realize that there's lack of communication, they are not reporting to you everything. We have all kind of situations, and sometimes it's just like a matter of alignment. Like the work styles are very different, and we realize that it's just not the right fit. The client tries, we try to provide the support, of course, because we want this to work. We are always looking for the long term. We are not doing project based, we are not doing temporary positions, because that's not what we do. We want to provide like a good, a job for someone. They know that they are going to be there and grow along with the business, and that's what we want. But when we realize this is just not working, we try many times, and if it still doesn't work, we always go for the replacement. This is something the ScaleSource provides. Like, we provide a replacement at no extra cost, and that's amazing. That doesn't mean that we leave the person without a job. We find a new location for them, something that is more aligned. We try to get feedback, we learn from that experience, and we move on. And of course, we always find like the right person for our clients.
Always, always, always the right person for the right. The right seat on the right job. so,
Totally.
so basing on this like process you mentioned, when you need to actually move quickly, especially if a client is very persistent on like pushing you to hire this person, like make it fast. I want her or him to start tomorrow. So how do you protect the quality of that decision?
When it comes to the hiding part, that's like paperwork, and we have an amazing team. The internal team, it moves fast, like really fast, so that's not an issue. But we try to always let the client know during the recruitment process, like, hey, I know you're in a hurry, but we don't want to make a big mistake, because you're going to invest your own time in the training. And what is it going to be like after 2 weeks? You realize it's not the right person because you wanted to hire fast. You're going to start all over from zero again. And I don't want to waste your time. I want to provide you the right person. It's not going to take months, but probably it's going to take more than a week, because sometimes we have clients that they want to hire someone in 5 days. It's like, we can provide candidates tomorrow for sure, but I want to find the right person for your company. So that might take a little longer. That might take probably a second round of interviews, probably some kind of test, of personality test that we need to, send. We want to be sure, because we don't want to do replacements all, after 2 months, after like weeks even. We want to do the right thing, and that's why we're very careful when we are, doing this kind of job.
That's good, because we provide, the best for our clients as well. And also, that's a good reminder that a strong, resume is only one part of the decision that ScaleSource makes, and the person still has to match how the business communicates and works. So, Lorena, before a business, starts choosing their candidate, what are the, let's say, three things that you need or they should explain to you before, presenting candidates?
Oof, me too. It can be like the most basic things, like I need to know the task. I need to know what they are going to be doing. And I need to know the schedule. The schedule is really important, because we can have a lot of talent, but there's, some people that are available to work only Monday to Friday. Some others are more than open to work on weekends, so they prefer so. So we need to know the schedule, we need to know the task, and we need to know the software. That's really important, because we have people that they know already the tools that our client is using. That means less time of training, because they already know, and some of them are already experts. So it would be really better if we present candidates that are already, familiarized with their own systems and tools.
I agree. So probably the lesson from all of this is not just simply find a good candidate. So I mean, it is to understand the work. How would they actually
Yeah.
navigate with the task that the client wants, and decide what success looks like. Create KPIs, 30, 60, 90 plan, and then finally find the person that fits that reality. So, did I capture that correctly, Lorena?
Oh, yeah, totally.
So, now, Lorena, we want you to finish this sentence for us. Before you interview anyone, make sure you know.
Before you interview anyone, make sure that they are, experts in their fields. This is like we are a company. We always provide rock stars, and the reason that I can say that is because our recruitment process is really careful. We always, are checking the small details. Even though some positions can allow people that is fresh from school, we always are looking for people that at least they spend 3 years working for US based companies, or they have 3 years of experience in marketing. If we're looking for someone they in that apartment or department, so we always try to look for people that they have the experience. We are not providing people that are not good enough. We provide rockstar. We always provide the best service and the best talent possible to our clients.
That's great. That's great, Lorena. And thank you. Because, with this tea, we actually explain what is the part for our clients, and of course the part that our scalers actually feel as well. So that is today's scale tea, and in the next episode we're picking up after the hiring decision and talking about what actually helps the relationship work.